he made top 8 in Portland. I think he made top 8 in LA too. Just keeps on playing. So, but on the left hand side, Mud is actually one of my favorite classic decks, like vintage decks.
Yes.
And it's great to see it basically move over to Legacy. Just for people who don't know, Mud is basically a mono artifact deck that actually has Goblin Welders and a few other cards here, but like it tries to weld into play or metalwork into play big artifacts like Mere Bathysphere, Sundering Titan, Blightsteel Colossus. The way that it controls the board is it uses things like Chalice of the Void and Spine of Ishtar to basically control the board. It also actually has a little bit of an infinite combo, I believe, with Staff of Domination and actually, I'm trying to work out if there is like infinite combo in this version.
Well, Joe Lossett here. Fate Seals again to take it up to 7.
So in play is a Chalice for 1, a Voltaic Key. So it looks like Chris is in a little bit of trouble. Like looks like Jace is slowly creeping up to ultimate, and whenever that happens, it really means that the Miracle deck has basically turned the corner and is basically controlling the game. This is game 1, and so we haven't had a chance to see the sideboards here, but the Mud deck definitely has a lot of interesting things coming in. We'll get to that once they get to the sideboarding, but some interesting cards in the Mud deck: Staff of Domination, Trinisphere and Chalice, like often like provide a really like hard lock for some decks. Like Rug Delver, really not very good against Trinisphere. All their spells cost 1. Instead, all their spells cost 3, which is really too expensive for that deck.
Yeah, with Chris Fate Sealing like that is. Okay, he brings in another Chalice of the Void.
Yep. He's chalicing, as far as I can tell, for 2. Chalice for 2, Chalice for 1. Okay. Still not really kind of like helping his situation, though it does mean that Counterbalance and Top cannot come into play. But a Miracled Angels can, because its converted mana cost is whatever, like it's 3 plus the X. Oh, it's actually, yeah, 3 plus the X.
So that will give him
2 Angels.
Well, if the Jace doesn't end up killing him first, the Angels will.
Yeah, this just basically gives Joe kind of a little bit of a backup.
When he Fate Seals him here, it'd be nice to see the top of his deck there. If just those cards, we can maybe see.
No, he's thinking right here. He doesn't know exactly. I think it's probably one he. By Joe's face, he's got his hand on his forehead. Looks like a tough decision here. Blue, white, red miracles really coming through big lately. The last few opens, last week's open in LA, Michael Hetrick won with his deck. Today,
please come up to the open stage.
The finals was made by one of the finals decks was a blue, white, red miracles deck.
All right.
Okay.
Let's make it a little easier for you at home to see when Joe is Fate Sealing. You can actually see the top of his deck. See what happens from there.
Okay, so Chris draws the card. I don't know. We couldn't tell if he actually Fate Sealed. It happened a little bit off camera. He's counting up some mana. Realizes he only has, at best, 2 turns. Yep, so he scoops it up, like he knows he's going to die in 2 turns, and it doesn't look like he can actually do 15 then. So,
this is game 1. Chris Cornwell-Shiel wins to tie it at 1-1. We have about a little over 5 minutes, maybe a little more due to us cutting into their match. We have playing Mud against Blue, White, Splash Red Miracles. Joe, like you said, a consistent competitor within the series itself. You know, sometimes when these guys come to these tournaments and you sit across the table from them and you know who they are from the coverage, you know, it can pose a little bit of intimidation, even if they're not, we'll say they're not the Cedric Phillipses of the world. But there's someone like Joe here who is a consistent competitor on the SCG Open Series. Yeah, does really well on the Open Series.
Yeah, he's won an Open. He's made top 8 in several. It's definitely one of the legacy specialists on the West Coast. He's from LA. So looking at the sideboard, just so we give you a little bit of insight, the cards that Chris is likely to bring in, he's likely to bring in Friction Revokers, mainly against Jace and Top. Those are very, very good against that, and he can cast them turn 1. He's probably likely to bring in Friction Metamorph and Trinisphere. Trinisphere really kind of like putting a tough situation. On Joe's side, he's likely to bring in Seal of Cleansing and Disenchant. Yes. Like those two are like particularly good here. Also likely to bring in a Vendilion Click and probably a Red Elemental Blast or Surgical Extraction. There is a minor graveyard theme in Chris's deck with the Goblin Welder. He basically is able to weld together a Blightsteel Colossus that he may have to, in some situations. One of the ways that the Mud deck gets out things really fast is it puts out a fast Kuldortha Forge Master and is able to search out a Blightsteel Colossus. And he does that the same turn because he has Lightning Greaves in his deck. Lightning Greaves is a 2-mana artifact from Mirrodin. Basically, it equips for 0, gives the creature haste, and cannot be targeted, and Shroud.
And if you notice also, he has 2 Mox Opals in there. A card that just came out recently with the same set that Karn was in. Very, very, very effective with this deck because it gives it an opportunity to have the other color mana it needs in its deck.
Okay, so Chris is going to be in the play. He's keeping.
All right, let's see what Joe wants to do. He's hesitating here for a minute.
Joe doesn't look like he's happy here.
It looks like they adjusted the time on the clock to what would be possibly the correct time.
Yep. Okay.
If so, that's 5 minutes to go.
Okay, so it's a Welder, like a really nice start. Welder's super important. There's a top. I suspect Chris is going to hope to play a Revoker here.
Mox.
Yeah, he's Revoker. There you go. Really, really solid situation. Joe actually has a Force of Will in hand, but the only card he can force is a Jace. And so he's really kind of like, okay, well, do I... No, he decides not to. And he attacks with the Welder. So Chris is really on the beatdown here.
Okay, pass his turn. Misty Rainforest there.
Was able to actually have the 2 artifact lands to turn on his Mox Opal. Greaves.
Oh, he is setting up Kuldortha Forge Master here.
Yeah, so he's going to Greaves the Revoker, so a Plow can't hit it.
He did name Divining Top.
Yep.
With the Revoker. Swings in. Wasteland.
So he just, I think he's gonna. Okay, so it looks like he's probably gonna play a Grim Monolith. Oh no, another one. I wonder if he's going to. Yep, he's gonna target his Goblin Welder. So Chris really, really, really wants a land and Forge Master. Hopefully, that will put together almost an unstoppable situation here.
Swings in again.
Players in the Legacy Open, that is time in the round. Active player, please finish your turn.
So it's actually
You may have 5
1-on-1.
additional turns.
We had the wrong game score before, so Chris had obviously won game 1, Joe won game 2. So, like, it's very possible that this game is actually going to get complete here.
Well, I saw Terminus in his hand, but it's not really going to do any good right now.
Yep. So it looks like Chris is kind of, I think he's a little short on land. I think he wants another land. The Forge Master cost 5, doesn't really.
Well, that's not a problem. Ryan's got a lot of lands in his hand right now. There's a volcanic island.
Okay, he plays it, leaves himself open slightly to the wasteland, but I don't think that's his worry.
All right, let's see what he searches up here.
I think it might be possible that Joe is considering playing his Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yes.
Just for the ability to basically, I think what he's going to consider doing here is he's going to play Jace the Mind Sculptor, put Terminus back on top of his deck, right, and then Miracle at the next turn.
There it is.
Okay, so he plays the Jace, brainstorms.
Let's see what he gets. Land.
It almost doesn't matter what he gets here,
Yeah.
because he really is just trying to to set up.
I believe that's an Entreat the Angels.
Yeah.
So Terminus, Entreat the Angels.
So one of the weird things is Joe's going to lose the Jace, almost definitely, unless Chris does something this turn.
Okay, Chris getting Cavern of Souls.
Oh wow! So what? Can we know what he named here, Cavern?
Okay. Taps 2. He names
It's
Construct.
Okay. So I believe Blightsteel Colossus is not a construct. I'm trying to work out which one's. I know Metalworker is a construct. So one of the interesting.
Chalice of the Void.
He's casting Chalice for 1. I'm just going to quickly find out from the judge whether Chalice for 1 stops Miracle. I have it's one interaction that I'm not positive of. I think it does actually. By wasting, he almost should. Okay. I was thinking that he should have wasted the Tundra for the simple fact that, yeah, if he wastes the Tundra, he forces him to sack the land to Terminus, and therefore having to shuffle away. Well, he doesn't know this, but forcing him to shuffle away the Entreat the Angels is actually on top of his deck.
Well, there's the Metalworker.
Metalworker attacks for 1. He doesn't have that many cards in hand.
Boy, rarely do you see Metalworker ever attack, but here you go.
So there you go. There's the Entreat the Angels that was hidden by the Jace the turn before. I'm pretty sure it's going to be for the full amount. Joe needs to end this game pretty quickly. The funny thing is, a Kuldotha Forge Master still really represents a big threat for Joe, because it can get a Blightsteel Colossus and kill him in 1 turn.
All right. As he cracks 2 fetch lands, goes down from those fetch lands. And there they are.
Okay, so he gets 4 angels, the 3 angels.
There's another land.
Okay. Chris needs a big draw here.
All right, let's see what he gets.
Doesn't look like something that is really so helpful, because he's kind of taking a little too long.
Okay, he will.
He's going to weld, revealing Sundering Titan and Tritisphere, gaining 4 mana. So Sundering Titan's going to actually take away some of the land here. Its power toughness is 710, which is going to force a will.
Okay.
Oh. So it doesn't resolve.
Gives a thumbs up. Was that okay?
No. Oh, I think he's Sundering Titan would leave Joe with 2 land if it resolved. You get to choose pretty much just the plains and an island. Though it could be 2 tundras if you wanted it to be. But it doesn't look like it's going to resolve.
They're clearly trying to figure out life totals.
Yeah, so I believe the creature type of Sundering Titan is giant. So it's not something he could have Cavern of Souls away. Okay, so let's see if Joe can make this a 2-turn clock if he wants to get a little bit aggressive. Oh wow, the click is actually going to be huge, because what it will allow him to do is, like, if Chris draws something relevant, he can just click it away during the draw step before Chris can actually play it.
Okay, this will take Chris down to 8.
So now Chris is dead next turn. Joe has a Spell Pierce, a Vendilion Click, and one other card which I could see, but okay. He draws in draw step.
Oh.
No, he says you can draw, but before you draw, after you draw. So he clicks. The card he has is Trinisphere, and so pretty much nothing. So he knows it's all safe. He just leaves them in his hand. He's going to attack you next turn. Game is over. Unless I am missing something from... Yep, there you go. There's the handshake. Chris really drew kind of like a really weak hand. Didn't draw any Forge Masters. Didn't draw any of his fatties